Hello, hello, hello. So we're going to go through a quick video today on the best way to kind of deal with a heavy weekend, weekend away. I'm saying this is quite apt because I've literally just got back from the weekend myself. So, what normally happens, you go out for a weekend, you relax, you enjoy yourself a bit more. So you might drink a bit more alcohol, you might, eat some more kind of rich foods. We all do it. The main issue that we have, especially if we're on a weight loss journey or on a fitness journey, is that what happens, it can throw you off plan. It can make you feel like, I've had a bad weekend, I've broken down my regime, I'm not going to get back on plan. And then what sometimes happens is you have like 3, 4, 5, 6 days of not being on plan, getting into that habit of overeating, not feeling great. And that's really when we can start, slowing down our results and lose that momentum that we had before we went. So what we like to coach our clients is get them to a point where they can go on holiday and they can come back the same weight that they went and still have a great time. And you can see how that works really well for people, because normally people go on holiday, and they put 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds on and they just lose that motivation. It makes you feel like, I've put all that effort in for, 2, 3 months. And now I've just either lost it all, or I've just slowed down that momentum I had. So it's kind of like a few key tricks or hacks that you can use that are going to stop you from losing that momentum. Now, what you normally find is that when you go out for a weekend, you have more meals booked in. Generally speaking, I just came back from the New Forest, so you're having kind of more pub food, which is generally more carbohydrate heavy, more fat based, and then you're having some red wine, some beer, whatever it might be. And essentially your diet will change in some way. I don't know many people that go away and just eat, chicken and broccoli. They do exist, but that's not me, and probably not most of the people that are listening to this at the moment. So what you normally find is you go out for weekends, you come back to work on the Monday or the Tuesday and you're feeling quite inflamed. So you're feeling like your joints feel quite sore and tender. You feel like your stomach is bloated. You feel quite lethargic. So your energy isn't where it was. Sometimes you have a bit of a headache. You're feeling tired because you've not been sleeping as well as you normally do. And essentially that's what then causes this issue where you think, oh, blowing, it's going to be difficult to get that momentum back. Or sometimes people go into full meltdown and they spend, a whole week not doing anything. So a couple of kind of, tips that we find work really well for our clients, and, hopefully these are helpful for you, but they can be used in combination with each other. Some just find that some work better for different people, but let's give you an overview of the kind of ones that we find best. The first thing really is to kind of like to pre-frame what it is and how you feel about going away for the weekend. So let's just say, for example, you're on a weight loss program and you're 2 months in, you got this weekend away where you're going to be drinking, you're going to be eating, that you can't really get around that. You're going to feel, with friends, you're going to feel a bit weird, a bit left out if you're sitting there, not enjoying a drink and not enjoying food. And we get that. It's part of being social. It's part of enjoying yourself, So when you go into that weekend, kind of plan how you're going to navigate what's in front of you before you go. So just an example, say, you're going away on a Friday evening and you've got a meal booked Friday night with drinks, and, you've got a lunch on Saturday. They're going to be quite boozy, quite, heavy on the food front. So just be conscious of the fact that, these things are coming, right? So when you're sitting down for dinner, try to choose things that are higher in protein, higher in fat, lots of vegetables, and effectively keep your carbs, so your potatoes, your pasta, your rices, as low as you possibly can. Because when you're drinking, really that is where your carbs are going to be coming from. If you're drinking beer or wine, that really is the carbohydrate that you're going to be having. You're going to be having upwards of what you normally do. So if you then throw into the mix, potatoes and Yorkshire puddings and desserts, all that kind of stuff, that's just topping that carb right up. So essentially, like I said, when you're going out for dinner, just be aware that you need to stick to high protein, high veg, high fat, and just keep the carbs as low as you possibly can. So generally speaking, green vegetables are going to be the best option for you. And then what it means is that you can sit down for dinner and you haven't got to feel like you're isolated, because you can choose what's on the menu, whether it's fish or chicken or beef, whatever it is, and just, keep the potatoes and the rice as low as you possibly can. You don't feel like you're being left out. Also, when it comes down to the kind of alcohol that you've got, we've actually got something called the Truth Alcohol Guide. And what we've done is taken all of the most popular drinks, your beers, your wines, your cocktails, your gins, your vodkas, things like that. And we've mapped out, we've given them a score kind of from 1 to 10 based on, how much sugar's in there, how much calories are in there. And essentially there's really kind of 2 or 3 top tips that you can take away when it comes to choosing drinks. Now, if you're someone that loves to have a pint, and trust me, I'm someone that loves to have a pint. I know how it is. But as you probably are already aware, if you're on a fat loss journey, drinking pints of lager or pints of bitter, they're really gonna, it's gonna be very difficult for you to lose the fat that you want while drinking that. So if you're someone that loves a beer and you're with your mates or whatever, and you're drinking beer, what I find the best kind of approach is to have a pint, enjoy it, be part of the whole, enjoyment and fun of having a pint with your mates, but then switch on to those healthier options. So maybe have a pint and then switch to your clear spirit. So gin and vodka with slim lines and lemons are generally the kind of best options that you can have. Things like red wine are another best option, dry red wines. So the sugar's quite low in there. They're really your best options. And of course, if you really want to stick to this, just switch your drinks out. So you have an alcoholic one and a still one, alcoholic one, and a still one. That's kind of like the best way to approach that. So that's kind of like what you should do when you're going for dinners, when you're drinking alcohol with friends, but also just the whole kind of framing around the whole weekend. Just go away and know that you're going to enjoy yourself. Know that you will be back on plan Monday. So when Monday does roll round, you're expecting that you're going to feel a bit tired, a bit lethargic, and maybe you're going to have gained a couple of pounds. But generally speaking, it's going to be water. You're going to feel quite bloated around your belly and around your hips. And it will come off your body as long as you get straight back on plan. So just make a promise to yourself that I'm going to go away, I'm going to enjoy myself, but when I get back on Monday, I'm going to get straight back on plan as quickly as I can, because that really is how you're going to offset the damage you've done really quickly. When you leave it 2, 3, 4, 5 days to get your workouts in or to get back on your nutrition or whatever it is you're doing, that's when you really start to slow down the gains that you're getting, the results that you're getting. And then just, when you do get back on the Monday, obviously, like me yesterday, you come back and you go straight back into work. So what I did this morning was just to get a light session, is because, if you've driven there, you've been on the train or you've been on a plane, what often happens, your body feels quite tight anyway from being sat down for quite a long time. Your hips and your back, your legs, your calves, all that kind of thing. So if you do go straight back into a heavy session, oftentimes we hear people, they've gone straight back into a heavy session, they've actually created more damage, they've pulled a muscle, or they've actually hurt their back. So generally speaking, when you get back, have a lighter session, do some mobility work. I actually put I'll put a link underneath this video to a YouTube video with some of our mobility workouts in there, so you can see, people doing those mobility exercises, which are good for your back and hip, stuff like that. So like I say, light session when you come back. So this morning I just went for a light jog for half an hour, did some mobility work, moved my body, hydrated, got myself back into feeling of, right, okay, I'm back in balance now. If I'd have gone to the gym this morning and smashed it and, hit a big heavy weight session, it might have been a bit too much, because I drove, to the New Forest and back in a couple of days, 5 hours to get there was a lot of traffic, and then 2.5 hours to get back. It's a little bit, it can be too much for the body. The next thing to be conscious of is to weigh in before you go and weigh in as soon as you get back. What it means is you've got an idea of what your body does, how it reacts to being away for a couple of days. How does it react to, drinking and eating a bit too much? What happens? What do you feel like? What happens to your weight? If you really want to do it, even take a photo of what your bloating looks like. But use it as motivation. Don't use it as a, okay, oh shit, I've put this weight on, I feel great, put 2 kilos on, or 2 pounds on, sorry. Use it as a way of kind of learning more about your body and how it reacts to, weight gain and how you feel when that happens. And then what it means is when you weigh in again, end of the week, Thursday, Friday, you can see that bloating's gone. You can see the water's come off of your body. So again, you feel like, you've got back into that motivation. You haven't lost that motivation that you had beforehand. And kind of the last tip that I would definitely recommend for people is you really need to overhydrate for the next 2 to 3 days when you're back from the holiday. Because if you have been drinking and you've been overeating on decadent rich foods and you've not maybe been sleeping as well as you could, you'll find that your body's quite dehydrated. You'll feel that dry mouth and you feel like, your pee might be a darker colour. Really overhydrate for the next couple of days. It's going to help your brain, it's going to help your body, it's going to help flush out all that, those toxins that you've put in there if you have been over drinking, overeating. It's going to let your body just kind of get back into balance where it feels healthier and fitter and your energy's back to normal. So those are kind of our top tips for how to deal with a weekend away. Things like multivitamins, adding some more multivitamins in there as well, just to help your body to get back to optimal levels is a good way to go as well. But yeah, let me just post the mobility video below this so you can see an example of some mobility stuff you can try next time you go for a weekend away. But essentially, it's about how you frame the weekend, know that it's coming, pre-plan as much as you can, so you can look at the menus, look at what's been served. Have a light session as soon as you get back. Let your body come back into balance. Don't force it back into high kind of intensity workout straight away. It's going to be too much for you. And hydrate as much as you can. And those are really the top 3 to 4 tips that are going to help you from losing momentum and disrupting the results you're getting. And we see it all the time. People are getting great results, go away for the weekend, go a bit crazy, and they just lose that momentum. Even sometimes they just self-sabotage and push the fucking button, for want of a better phrase, and go crazy. I put 2 pounds on, let's eat cake and eat cheese all day. Just to kind of, it's something our brains just switch into sometimes. But use those techniques, use those tricks that I've shown you there, and they're really going to help you to navigate the weekends that are coming out for all of us. Now the sun's coming out a little bit, got more weekends seeing friends, but you can even use that when you go for longer holidays for a week, 2 weeks. Essentially, when you go away for a week or 2 weeks, you're going to start adding some actual training into your days. Things like fasting are going to be a really effective way to keep your weight down as well. But maybe we'll do a video on, the longer holidays and how to navigate keeping your weight down and staying healthy during those times as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to put that mobility video below here. I hope you enjoyed that. And my name is Cameron Harris. I'm the co-founder of Truth, and we help people get incredible results in just 6 weeks. We help business leaders to look, move, feel 10 years younger. Been great chatting to you, and we'll speak very soon.